oh, thank goodness, this is going to be easy. But it's not as easy as it sounds. So don't check out and think, oh, I can handle that. Because I definitely want you to see all of the steps, and that's going to give you the opportunity to have the most successful drawing. So the other thing that I want to tell you, you all know that I'm working on my teaching degree. So as part of one of my classes, I have to create a bulletin board at Kendall. It's a 6 foot by 8 foot, so it's ginormous. I have to stand on this big box to even reach the top of it. It's awesome. Bulletin board. And we have to create it themed around a lesson that I have created. So like Mrs. Erickson has this one from one of the first lessons she did. That's a bulletin board she created. I am now creating one. It's going to be up at Kendall for a month. And I have chosen this lesson. So some of the work that we create for this project will actually go with me to Kendall and be hung up at Kendall College for like a month and be part of this bulletin board. So I hope that's something you guys are excited about. Maybe. Yay! Did you have a question? It's okay if you do. Okay, so what we are doing, you all have or will have the opportunity to pick out an animal picture. We are going to make a cropped version of that picture. So you're not going to see the entire animal. The idea is you kind of want to trick the viewer a little bit. You want them to look at this for a little while and go, what is that? And that's actually the theme of the bulletin board, and there'll be names of the animals available so people can try to figure it out. So it's like an interactive. So the first step is we have a number of different size boards up here. So you'll choose the proportions. They're all different. Some are long and skinny, or tall and skinny, depending on how you look at it. Some are perfectly square. So you'll have to choose which proportions work best with your image. I worked very small because I made like 8 of these things. So to be efficient, I made them very small. And then what you're going to do is you're actually going to cut your photograph down to the cropped image that you are going to work from. And then we are actually going to, on the photo, on the back, you will rub chalk. And I know you can't see this, but there's chalk here. You will rub chalk on the back of the image. And the reason is, we are going to do what illustrators refer to as a photo transfer. This is not tracing. I'm just going to throw that out there one time. As an illustrator, it's not tracing. This is a photo transfer. So, the focus of this lesson is we chose an animal. We're going to use colored pencils, and I am going to help teach you how to create the correct texture of your animal. So all the animals that I chose have some sort of texture to them. So this is a crop of the sea turtle. And obviously he's got a lot of texture. This thing isn't the clearest. Do you focus? No, it's just...
Autofocus might help. Is there a button that says autofocus?
Oh, that's better.
Better,
okay.
all right.
Turtle texture, yay. Okay, so as I said, you put chalk on the backside. Again, you still can't see it, but it is there. And then you're going to want to take your image to your board, because the last thing you want is for this to move. If this moves, you pretty much are starting over at that point. So I'm just going to show you this quickly. It's pretty straightforward, and then I have it kind of in some different steps, so we'll go through those. So with a pen, I like to use a blue pen, which I did grab one, but it's over there now. Only because it's easier to see where you've put lines. You can use a black pen. You can technically use a pencil, but I like a blue pen because it shows me where I am and where I'm going. I am not pushing hard. The last thing you want to do is make an indentation into your board. Mat board and illustration board, all those different boards that have a thickness to them for art, they're actually just thin pieces of paper that are compressed so tightly together they become a board. So you can indent into them fairly easily, and you do not want that to happen. So with this, I am I'm just going over, remember when we did the observational marshmallow demo last week when the power was out? And I said I'm creating a map? That's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm creating myself a map of this turtle. So I just kind of quickly marked in his shell. That thing likes to travel. There's some really nice variations in color seen here. So I'm just kind of mapping those in. Take your time with this. Don't just do an outline, an eyeball, and we're done. I spend time on this because the more detail you give yourself right now, the more successful your piece will be later and the less of a headache it'll be, because this is the part where you have the opportunity to say, okay, these are exactly where each of these little parts and pieces are. I usually start in one corner and just work my way across, just marking in anything that I want to know where that's at later on when I'm creating the drawing. For this demo, I'm jumping around because when I pull this up, I want you to be able to see some of the different marks that it's making. All right, so you guys ready?
Yeah.
The big reveal. Can I get a little drum roll? Woo! Okay, so what happened was from that pen marking, everywhere the pen marked created a chalk mark on the board. So this is chalk that has been transferred from the back of the paper onto the presentation board. So I now have a map. Obviously, this is not a very good map because it's not done. So to save time, it's like the cooking shows. To save time, ahead of time I have baked this beautiful, no. I have this wonderful little puffer fish. And you can kind of see on the highlights here where all my pencil marks are from mapping that out. So here's an entire one. This is what your map should look like. They should be very, very, very detailed. All right? And then you want to be very careful at this point because you can lose all of your hard work very easily. Now this one has been in existence for like 3 weeks now, so it's not going to come off as easily, but the chalk will just rub off the board. So you do have to be very careful once you've reached that point, because a couple of good swipes and you're starting over again. So from this step, what you need to do is get a light colored pencil, a light neutral. Can anybody tell me what a neutral color is? Yeah.
Isn't it like kind of like tannish?
Yep. So not one of our bright colors on the outside of our color wheel, which is kind of showing at the bottom of the board here. Okay. So not one of our bright saturated colors. A gray, a brown, a beige, a tan. But make sure that it also is very light in value because it'll be the easiest to see. You want this pencil to be sharp also. So you're going to sharpen it to a nice point. You're going to flip you can actually peel your picture off at this point. Don't get rid of this. It'll be kind of messy because the chalk will want to rub off on your fingers and your clothes. But sometimes when you're looking at this mess of chalky lines, you're like, what is that? Like, what did I draw there? Well, you can actually compare it. Okay, so the outside of the eye is here, so the outside line is here. And you're just gonna go in with your pencil, redraw.
We only have 6 more minutes of class left, so if there's anything special that you wanted to show them, because you are the master of this medium, I thought maybe you could jump to that now, and I know the other stuff that I can kind of
Yes.
regroup with.
So, once you get it all drawn out with pencil, then you don't have to worry about it rubbing off. These will be here all week, so you'll have lots of time to look at them. And I have lots of samples of textures of the animals that you guys will look at also. This is a step-by-step on how to blend. Last week, I told you with the marshmallows, don't mix your colors because they'll mix like paint. Now we are going to mix our colors. So this is a step-by-step We have we're working on a dark brown board. We have lots of scraps, so you get to practice and play with the colors, mixing them together. So this will be here and be available. Just like with the marshmallows, you're gonna build the pencil in layers. So this would be the first layer of a drawing, and I will bring it that way. So I just, from my map that I created, laid in the different colors and tones so that I knew, okay, this thing is yellow, this thing is white, and from there, I began to layer them and create more detail, and I started to mix the colors. You're gonna put in your light tones first, just like you see down here. You can put some dark, and then you're just gonna slowly build it up until you have it fully blended and layered with all the details that you created in your map. And again, I will leave this here this week so you can take a closer look at it. All right. Does anybody have any questions? I know that was kind of like super fast.
Do you want to quickly, because I know you have a started an in-progress one, just show them your blending techniques and the one that you have? And then Avi has a question too, I think.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. How big is it? It's going to be that size?
There's a bunch of different sizes. Up here, you're going to have a 1-inch border, so they're not even going to be this big. They're going to come in here. But yeah, they are going to be bigger than mine. These are kind of a pain to work on because they're so little.
We're going to talk more about it tomorrow, Aviana, because you're going to crop differently. You all have different images. So depending on your image, it will be different than someone else's.
Okay.
We'll go over that tomorrow.
Boy, that's got a nice shape.
Good question.
Okay, so this is the frog that I started, and his eye is pretty much done. I'm a naughty artist because I draw something till it's completed in one little area, and then I move to the next area. Don't do that? Yeah, see, I'm getting the no. Don't do that. Go through and put down a whole layer of color, and then build the whole next layer over the entire piece. That's the appropriate way to do it. I'm just old and have been doing this way too long to change. But I'll change for you guys. So, as you see, I mapped in my colors. There's some dark greens in here that are hard to see, but I put in where my whites and my highlights are. Trying to get away from that glare.
Quick question. The color map board that you're using, is that an advantage over white?
Yes. So, with colored pencils, some of the colors can be very transparent. So if you're working on a white board, the white board just pushes right through the pencil, and it doesn't give you the richness of color that you could get out of the pencil. So I work on, this is actually a presentation board. It's dark gray on one side and light gray on the other. So if I have to do something that has a lot of white in it, I can adjust to the lighter side to help compensate for that. But 90% of the time I work on this dark gray, which is very, very close to the same value as the dark brown that you guys are working on. So, it's very hard to talk and do this, but I'm trying.
They have 1 minute till the bell rings, so anything that you would give them advice on and at all during this process?
Just take your time building the layers. The pencils will give a little bit, so if you put something down and you're like, it doesn't look right, you can go in with another pencil and kind of shift the pencil around. But if you take your time building up your layers, you're going to have really good results with this.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Small.